Welcome to the Savvy Property Investors Podcast, a weekly show that delivers the best hard-hitting property industry news, business advice, and talks that will get you ascending in the real estate industry. Now, here's your host, the amazing award-winning property and business coach, best-selling author, and serial entrepreneur, Miss Sapphire Gray.
Well, welcome to the Savvy Property Investors Show season finale. Well, we've reached season 2's finale already. And what a season it has been. We've had some fantastic speakers on this season. And I would just like to share with you and go back where we started from in episode 1 with Jack, who talked about how to build your business brand. What did you learn from that? Did you get a lot from Jack, understanding how to build out your property business brand? Was you successful in creating your brand for your business? Then we had Muzzy on episode 2, how to win in the rent-to-rent property industry. Now, a lot of my viewers and listeners have always said, well, how do I get into investment if I've got little or no money? And Muzzy was able to share with you simple tactics you can use in a rent-to-rent space on how you can get into property investing with little amounts of money doing rent-to-rent. Callie, in episode 3, she talked about from Sevens Capital, how to get started as a property investor. Now, as you was aware, Callie also works on behalf of Sevens Capital, where they are developers, and she showed you each step in how to become an investor, a property investor. Did you get a lot from that? I'd love your feedback. So did you get a lot from that episode? Then we had episode 4, where we talked to Nathan, the fearless millionaire. What a fantastic show that was. And what it takes to be an international investor. He shared great a foundation how to become an international investor and what you should do in order to build that out. Remember to always do your due diligence was one of his key points that he made in order to be an international investor, making sure that you get the legals and the tax issues sorted out in any country that you're looking to invest in, because these are the things that will make you succeed or fail as a property investor. In episode 5, I talked about the overview of the current UK property market. We saw from the beginning of the year that the government gave us a break in the stamp duty, and everyone was rushing to get their property investments in to beat that stamp duty deadline. How did you fare with that? Did you get any of your properties through before the deadline happened? Well, I looked at the breadth of the property market and what it was looking like, and it was really buoyant then. It was absolutely showing us that the investments hasn't died. It's good to get out there and become a property investor and showing you exactly what you need to do that. Also went on to talk about in episode 6, what strategies best suit you. Now, why is it I'm talking about strategies that best suit you? A lot of people, when they get into the property space, they just go out and buy a property and think, yep, I've got that property and it's below market value and I'm just going to invest in it. And that could be a single let, or it could be a HMO. They don't quite know. So I've always said, and I've always been firm on this, you must always choose a strategy that suits you and your personality and also your pockets, making sure that you don't go into something that you can't afford or you may simply not like. Now, for instance, if you're doing HMO and you don't like multiple occupancy and you don't like dealing with a lot of people, then this is where you need to really think about whether the HMO strategy is good for you. Could it be a family let? Could you just want to sell, rent your properties out to family lets? Or do you want to do flipping where you buy a wholesale and sell for a profit? You need to decide what property strategy suits you, your personality, and also suits your pocket.
Like what you hear so far? Make sure you never miss a show by clicking the subscribe button below. Our podcast is only made possible by great listeners like you.
In episode 7, we talked to Conrad, who talked to us again about HMO, how to find the right rent to rent to turn into a HMO deal. Again, we talked about not having so much money to get into the initial investment, but also up leveling that into a HMO. What did you learn from that episode? Then episode 8, we talked to Chris, who talked about lease options, how to find lease options and do creative deals. What, again, a fantastic show that was. Chris went into details on how you can look for lease option properties and what creative deals actually mean. So if you haven't seen these shows so far that I'm talked about, please go back and watch them. Sarah Watts, she's a landlord, and she talked about how to create passive income from property business. Sarah also talked about HMO, but co-living HMOs. She gave a plethora of information on this, and it was really good insight on how she done it and how her team is doing it and where she buys her properties and what she does with it. Also, in episode 10, Jack came back and he talked about how to flip houses, and is it still worth it? Well, the answer to that is absolutely yes. It is still worth doing it, and it will never die out, because if you can find a property that you can flip for a profit, that strategy will always live. As long as you've got the funds and the know-how and you've done your due diligence, there is a good way to go. Eleanor talked about commercial and the commercial group that she's in, Commercial Alliance. And that was a really another good show as well. Really got a lot from Eleanor on how to look at commercial space and how collaborating and working together really does make you successful as well. And here I am today sharing with you. What do you have coming up for next year? What's your dream, your prospects for 2022? On our show next year, we're opening up with Simon Zutshi. So please look out for that. And he is going to be talking out in season 3 in January, how to make the most of your property investment in 2022. So that's a little insight into what's coming up in season 3. We'll be back in January 2022, where we will share in more insights from the Savvy Property Investors show. Don't forget to share, like, subscribe. And if you have any comments, please feel free to reach out to us as well. I've enjoyed doing this season for you, and I'm going to enjoy doing season 3, where we've got loads of different people coming up to really share some insights, not only into the property space, but also helping you navigate life as well. How to run a healthy business, how to create those passive incomes as well. So I want to share this with you coming up in 2012. I hope you enjoy your holidays that's coming up this month, and I hope you really enjoy your time learning about property investments. I also am promoting currently the Property Investors Toolkit. Look out for that in the links below. And you can also get into the property space for as little as £37, where I give you all the tools to start your journey come January for you to be a successful property investor. Thank you for watching the Savvy Property Investors Show. I'll see you next year in 2022, and good luck to you for the new year. I look forward to sharing more insights with myself, Sapphire Gray. Speak to you all soon.
This week's episode of the Savvy Property Investors Podcast was brought to you by our sponsor, the Savvy Women Group. Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed today's show, head over to our website, www.savvywomen.co.uk, to gain access to our free resources and more insights about our guest speaker today. Remember, we make your business our business, so you can unlock your full potential and improve your quality of life.